Welcome to another update video. Here we are. We're in Walls, Mississippi at our home church, Bethel Baptist Church here in Walls, Mississippi, is where my wife and I went to college at Tri-State Baptist College. And now this is our sitting church. We've got married here. We know a lot of people here. It kind of feels like a second home. So we definitely enjoy being back here. While we're passing through the area, I want to give you a few updates over the last couple months. This video, maybe I'm going to try something that I haven't done before. Instead of mentioning every place we've gone and every church and every situation, I'm going to kind of recap chronologically some of the highlights that we've had, some of the memories we have, and to kind of show you a little bit what God's done and how neat certain things have been, if you will. So we just passed 33%. So we're a little over 6 months into Deputation, just passed over 33% of our support. So that is fantastic. That is a very good pace we're on. We give God all the praise and glory for that. I believe we've added 14 or 15 churches in the last few months taking us on for support, so we're excited about that as well. I'll be praying for more churches to get on board and to join in on that monthly support. I know a few more churches are praying about doing that here in the next few weeks, so be praying for that as well. Toward the end, we'll have some prayer requests for you, but very simply, the first thing I can remember after our last update video was in January. We went to Macedonia World Baptist Missions there in Houston, Georgia, and we actually got to meet a lot of the people. Some of them we have met, some we haven't met, and they had orientation there with a lot of these younger couples coming in, and it was really neat for us to see some of these younger men and women surrendering to the field, and they're anxious to learn, and I love they're very malleable, they're looking for help. And I love the fact that Macedonia is there to help them. God has allowed us to help some of them as well, especially as we travel. So we really enjoyed Deputation, getting to meet some of the different directors there in Macedonia that we plan on working with for years to come. So that we definitely enjoyed that. On the way back, that was January. If you remember, on the way back, we stopped in Shreveport. They're in Bossier City with Shady Grove Baptist Church, I believe the name was. They're in Bossier City, pretty much on the east side of Shreveport. We were scheduled to be with a couple churches there in that area, and that's when that big ice storm came in. That big ice storm shut everything down. Every church in the area shut down all the churches. All the stores were closed. I think Walmart in the area was open for about 2 hours. You had to be there between like 12 and 2. We didn't know about the hours. We happened to be there. They only let a certain amount of people in at a time. Then they shut down very early. So that was an interesting time. So we had Sunday morning canceled, Sunday night canceled, and then we drove all the way back to the Dallas area late Tuesday night to try to be back for a church there on Wednesday, and the ice was still bad on their property, so they canceled. So we lost several meetings that week, but hey, what are you going to do? The ice was literally about that thick. It looked like snow, but you could go out and walk on it. It didn't crunch at all. So very simply, that was a fun and interesting time, I guess you could say. I have notes here just to make sure that I don't forget anything I want to mention here. After that, we were in and out of that area there in Texas for a little bit. Eventually went up into Tulsa, Oklahoma for a very good missions conference there at Fireside Baptist Church, on the way up to Wichita. And when we got to Wichita, went to several churches up there. Of course, if you know us, we were on staff there at Ark City Baptist Church, so I've got to know several people in that area, several pastors and churches in that area. So we really enjoyed getting to reconnect with them again, going to their churches, presenting and preaching. And while we were there, Brother Richard Haley Jr., we were staying in their missions apartment. He does different contracting stuff on the side. He said, hey, do you want to ride with me? We're going to go over to John Swope's church, Bethel Baptist Church there in Wichita. He goes, they're remodeling their auditorium. And I said, absolutely. I'd love to see that, number one, because I just love remodel work. I love to see progress and befores and afters. But two, we were going to be with John Swope that Sunday night, so I got to see him again a little bit early, enjoyed reacquainting ourselves and getting to know each other. So we walked in, we got to see all the work they're doing, and they had a good amount of volunteers from their church up there working, and it's always good to see a church with life, wanting to do something, wanting to make the auditorium beautiful and updated. And so it was very refreshing to see their vision for it while also seeing their volunteers stepping up saying, let's do this. Not only let's pay for it, but let's do the work ourselves. I always love that kind of a spirit. But while we were there, I was getting to know him and his wife, and they were, showing me pictures and ideas and, kind of what their goals were for certain things. And along the way, they mentioned they really wanted this pulpit. There was a pulpit they were looking for and a Lord's Supper table, and there was a guy that they was potentially going to build it, and all the bids they were getting back for this pulpit, Lord's Supper table for this new auditorium were between $10,000 and $12,000. By the way, if you've never looked into pulpits and stuff, they get expensive fast, especially if they have any kind of columns on them, any kind of double layers. They get very pricey very quick. So if you don't know anything about me, I did woodworking on the side for a long time, had a full shop and business there for a while. I enjoy woodworking. The problem is I don't travel with my tools. I don't travel with a wood shop. So I was looking at what they wanted, and I said, I can do that. I know I can build that. I've built pulpits before to help churches save money. I said, I know I can build that. And they said, you can, absolutely. So and I think it was the next day, we went and bought all the supplies, brought them to church. There for a little bit, I was worried I bit off too much, more than I can chew, if you will, because I don't have my shop. I don't have all my specialty tools. I don't have all the nice, fine woodworking tools I've purchased over the years. All I have is a job site table saw and a miter saw that everybody's sharing, and one sander and a brad nailer we had to go buy, and very minimal tools and a less than ideal working environment outside under the carport. And there for a while I was worried maybe I bit off more than I can chew. I told him I know I can build it, but there's no way I'm going to have time before I have to leave to paint it and stain it and finish it. So I said, if y'all can do that, I know I can build it. So the first 2 days, all I did was tons of cutting. I think I added up somewhere around 1,000 to 1,200 different cuts within this project, between all the plywood and the hardwoods and the oaks and the trims, and tons of cuts to be made. And eventually, I'll put a picture here on the screen. I was able to make this pulpit, and it'll make this Lord's Supper table as well. And then a few weeks later, they sent me pictures of after they got it painted, after they got it stained. I'll put those on the screen for you as well. But I think it turned out very well. Again, the bids they were getting was $10,000 to $12,000. We were able to do it, I think, for right around $750 in materials. Saved them a good amount of money, allowed them to get the pulpit they wanted. And it just so happens that God put us on their schedule 6 months prior to that, and we just happened to be there in the middle of this auditorium remodel when they needed the pulpit. God is very good at what he does. I love scheduling. I love talking to pastors. I love working on it, but it's always neat to see when God clearly does something. So I definitely appreciate that. So from there, again, that was Pastor John Swope. Love that church. Love the people very much. He's definitely a blessing. If you're ever in the area, go check them out. You definitely want to see them. Then from there, we started going east. We went to Heritage Baptist Church there in Kansas City. Pastor Gene McCubbin. They were just a massive blessing to us. They gave us a more than generous love offering. They took us on for a good amount monthly support, and they're in our corner. They're praying for us. So I love that church. Love them. What a blessing they were. And as we kept going east, we were eventually in the St. Louis area. Pastor Eric Williams there gave us a great place to stay on top of their gymnasium. They have a full-on house on top of this gym. What a beautiful thing that was. I definitely enjoyed staying there, getting to know their people. But that Sunday night, we were going to be with Pastor Chad Teal at First Baptist Church in Wildwood, Missouri. So while we were up there, in fact, there was a family, the Roberts family, in our church back in Texas, and this is the church they were from before moving down to Texas. So God worked that out as well. Really enjoyed meeting him and his family, and we got to go soul winning with them, but really it was more of a door hanging, I guess you can call it. I think they had 10,000 of these door hangers they wanted to put on doors all across the area over the next month leading up to Easter. And they were trying to do 10,000 of these in about 4 or 5 weeks. We were there on a Friday morning, the very first day they got to do it. So we got to help them pass out a good amount of these things, hang a lot of them. So what a blessing that was. Our girls got to go with us. They always enjoy that sort of thing. One thing to pray about, while we were out, there's a man by the name of Robert. I won't give you his last name just for the sake of anonymity, but his name was Robert, and he was born and raised Catholic. He still is Catholic. His teenage daughter was there with us as well, talking. She's also baptized in the Catholic Church. That's all they've ever known is Catholicism. At first, he kind of had up a hard front and, not really interested in anything we had to say. But after about 10 minutes, he was cracking jokes back and forth and realized we're human, he's human, we're having a good time. And eventually, he looked at me and said, I think it's amazing you showed up today, because For a while now, I've been in the Catholic Church, but I don't believe anything they're teaching me. There's too many holes in what they're saying, and they don't have enough proof to back up some of their claims, and I just don't believe it. And I've been wondering what to do, where to go, because maybe it's not coincidence that you showed up today. I said, I don't think it's coincidence at all. So be praying for Robert. It's a very big step to leave the Catholic Church and to try something else, but he's heavily interested in trying out a Baptist church. So be praying for him. Hopefully he can visit that church there in Wildwood. What a blessing that'd be. Be praying for Robert. I know he would definitely enjoy that. After that, we slowly started going up north, went to Averyville Baptist Church there in Peoria area. I think it's technically East Peoria, Illinois. With Paul Coyle's the contact I know there. It's actually the pastor's son. I believe he's about to be the next pastor. His dad is getting ready to retire. But very good church there. It's a church with a good demographic of people. They're actually having their missions conference right now, so be praying for that conference. But they had a nice house we stayed in for several days. It was good to get to know Brother Paul Coyle a little bit more and his family in the church. Definitely a blessing. And then from there, we went up to Oak Creek, Wisconsin, pretty much Milwaukee. By the way, Milwaukee, you might as well be southern Canada. That is so far north from me. That is, as a Texas guy, Milwaukee is not my type of place. Way too cold, especially in March as it is. But I'm telling you, this church up there, Faith Baptist Church there in Oak Creek, amazing church. We love this church. Talking about a church that they just do it right. When they do something, they don't just halfway throw it together. It's not a last second thought. Everything they did was well thought out. It was calculated. It was meticulous. They had a great spirit about them. They spoiled us. They spoiled my wife. They took us on for support. We love this church. And so many people have already friended us on Facebook and texted us and emailed us. And this is a church that we have no doubt they're praying for us. And that's a great asset to have as a missionary. So now I will say there's one major con about this missions conference. I think it was our second day there, an actual blizzard came through. And it's like the first blizzard in the area in 20 years, I think is what the news said. And we're talking 8 inches of snow overnight, snow everywhere. The Walmart parking lot has like 6-foot piles of snow. I hate every bit of that, okay? I knew it was bad news when I showed up to the church, and in the corner, I'll probably put a picture of this well, in the corner, they have snow shovels lined up. That's not a good sign. Any church I've been in, they don't have snow shovels lined up waiting for the weekend. Too far north for me. So as soon as they took us off for support, as soon as that conference was over, we started coming back south. We're done. So we went on the way south. We stopped in Missouri right before coming back here to Walls, Mississippi. We stopped at a couple of churches. One of those was being Heartland Baptist Church. They're in Perryville. Brother Jim Kiefer, I believe his first name was, Pastor Jim Kiefer, allows us to stay. They have a nice missions apartment there at their place as well. Got to know them, go to their house for taco night. Got to know their sweet church, and just what a blessing they were to us. One thing to pray about there as well, we got to go pass out Bibles with them. So on Saturday, they did this Bible handout thing. They have free Bibles. They put pictures there for that as well. Girls were waving, everybody come by. A few people were stopping. We're giving them Bibles. The neat thing with a ministry like that is these people are coming to you looking for hope. They're coming to you with questions and comments and concerns and prayer requests. And so one man in particular, he stopped by and he just got out of the car and walked to me while we're walking together, and I handed him a Bible. And he said, thank you so much. He said, I've been praying for a Bible now for 2 or 3 days. I don't know what happened to my Bible, and I'm just going through a real hard time right now, and I prayed to God for a Bible. I was driving down the road, and there you are with a sign saying free Bibles. So I just pulled over and felt like that's what God wanted me to do. His name is Daniel. I don't know how old he was. I don't think he's too much older than me, though. He may be pretty close to my age. He has a son that's, I believe, 10 years old, if I remember. It's 8 or 10 years old. His son has been diagnosed with terminal cancer. So I told him I would be praying for him. His son's name is Liam. I would ask you to please join me in praying for him. So we're going to pray for him. Their church there in Perryville is praying for him. I ask you to pray for him as well. He has a great attitude about it. He has the right spirit about it. He knows that just because he goes to church and just because he starts reading his Bible, God doesn't owe him anything. He doesn't have to heal him on the spot. It may or not be God's will, and he understands that. But I think it'd be neat if we could show him, if God can show him the power of prayer and maybe God can heal his son. I know he can. It's whether or not he will. So we ask you to join me in praying for Liam. I know that would be a massive thing, not only for Liam, but Daniel and the family. You never know what God can do with that. If he can heal Liam, maybe the whole family gets in church. Maybe people start getting saved. So we're praying for Liam. I definitely appreciate that. And now here we are. We are here at Bethel Baptist Church in Walls, Mississippi. Been here for this week. They invited me here. We're preaching a missions module here in the college at Tri-State Baptist College, mostly focusing on the practicalities of missions. We spent one day on biblical missions. What is it? Going through the Bible. Since then, we're looking at deputation, how to do deputation from the church's perspective, how to do it from the missionary's perspective, maybe how not to do it sometimes. We see some missionaries not doing it very well. A lot of red flags that we see. So trying to help people out in that as well. And tomorrow we're going to wrap up the mission module here on Friday, looking at church planting, how to plant a church, what to watch out for, that sort of stuff. But keep praying for us. We definitely do appreciate that. I do have a couple specific prayer requests. A lot of people always ask us, what can we pray with you about? Number one, this is going to always be on there, but it's always important. Pray for us as we travel. We don't drive as much as most missionaries, but we do drive. We do drive. We've been in, I think, 10 different states over the last few months and a good number of churches, and we do drive. So pray for safety as we do travel. Another thing with this war in Iran, gas prices have really gone up. You know, it used to take $38 or so to fill up our tank. Now we're averaging closer to $60 to fill up our tank. So obviously that eats into some finances a little bit. On top of that, we're getting ready to go back to the Netherlands in October. Toward the beginning of October, we're going to go for 10 more days for two reasons. One, our girls have not been yet, so we want to bring them with us this time so they can actually see the country before they move there. And two, it's very hard to find a place to live, so we're going to try to start that process. It takes usually about 12 months to find an apartment, and so if we can kind of start that process, maybe at least get neighborhoods down, good neighborhood, bad neighborhood, talk to some leasing agents. Let's get that ball rolling is a big reason we're going there in October as well. But be praying for that because the gas prices have gone up, the plane tickets have gone up. So we were going to thinking about buying them the other day. They were around, I think, $750, almost $800 out of Columbus, where we were going to be going to the Netherlands. Last I checked, the same tickets are like $1,300. They've gone up significantly, about a little over $500 each. So you think about it, that's an additional $2,000 on our end. So pray that, number one, those gas prices go down, not only for our car, but also for plane tickets. But also on top of that, pray that we have the funding to easily go over there, do what we need to do to have a good 10-day trip with our girls, get all our ducks in a row, maybe do some good planning while we're there, and then come back and finish out deputation over the next few months or so. But that's who we are. That's where we're going. I appreciate you watching this much in the video. God has been more than good to us. Those that support us, thank you very much. Those that pray for us, thank you very much. Without y'all, none of this is possible. Our goal is very simple. As we say at every church, we want to love people, preach the Bible, and stay out of God's way. And so far, God is blessing that. So keep praying for us. Hope you have a good day today, and God bless.